What's up, everybody? We're live on Facebook. We've got Steven. Steven, where are you located and how long have you been doing what you're doing, my friend? Not sitting in the beach, not that, but what you typically do.
So originally I'm from Canada and I started in real estate when I was about 23 and I'll be 50 this year. So it's been a while. And now I live in San Diego. Thank you for the applause. So I've been in real estate for about 27 years and done it in 2 countries. So Canada and the US since roughly 2009 after I immigrated and they let me work.
Nice. I love that, dude. And Steven, I in the messaging here in the chat, I sent you the address. It's like literally like 2 minutes, maybe a minute drive for you from where you're at, I think.
Nice. Thank you.
So take a look at Ceci's and then let us know where you're from. I know Steven's out in Carlsbad, right in front of the beach, dude.
Yeah, I'll show them my view. So I'll show everybody where I'm at.
Look at that.
That ain't so bad, dude. That don't suck.
Bad. There could be worse. It could be Texas last week, so I'm not there.
Dude, I know.
True.
Steven, I don't know about you, but nobody I know is leaving California. I'm just saying.
You know, I've had some clients move like Texas, but I haven't had that many leave that I've been working with. So
yeah,
I've heard through other people the exodus, but there's definitely spots to fill the exodus.
Dude, tell me about it. Like amazing market. Well, Randy, you introduced me to Steven. How's everything going in your world over in Atlanta?
As y'all may have seen me, I've been working from the couch the past 2 weeks because of my knee surgery, but I had my post-op today. They reminded me in how bad of shape my knee was. Loved that reminder. But they said everything's looking good. I'm ready to go. I went to the gym this morning. I'm good. Atlanta's good. Atlanta has like 6 weeks of inventory right now. So it's feeling very similar pain to what y'all are going through. Inventory is killer. I thought inventory had been, all right, I guess inventory has been like all-time lows just like for the past 6 years. It just keeps getting lower.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Anyways, that's how we're doing. And we're sad, of course.
Of course.
Always sad.
I love it. I got Lori saying El Dorado Hills, California. 2 of my sons moved to Texas last week in the middle of the storm. No water for 5 days. Welcome to Texas. Wow. Sorry, Lori, that sounds pretty sucky. But I'm glad they're doing okay. Well, let's get this party started, everybody. We've got Randy from Chime, Steven from Carlsbad. If you got any real estate, you know where to send it to. If they're moving to Carlsbad, to Steven, that's who you send it to. And we're going to be talking about Chime and the partners that we have. Randy, I'm going to go to you on this one, buddy, because this was your idea on exploring the partnerships that Chime has, because we talk about Chime, we talk about its AI, we talk about the PPC, the Facebook ads, the amazing CRM and everything, but we never talk about how they partner with all the other companies. So I'm going to let you talk about that and intro it.
Yeah, this was my idea. I'll take ownership of that. So if it's bad, if this is a crummy webinar, I apologize to all of you personally. But the reason why I brought this topic up was because the purpose of this is to get to understand the culture of the companies that you work with. I think this is a time where folks are more connected than ever, and I would love for y'all, similar to the way you think about your title partners or your mortgage partners or other home services partners, how do you look at your technology partners? Do you hope to get value from them? Do they have a abundance culture where they want to partner with you, or they partner with other technology companies to improve their service? That is kind of the question that I want to leave everyone with today when we're done, is just to do a self audit of the culture of the companies that you work with to see if they are partnering with you and partnering with other technology companies in the same way that so many of the other people you work with on a day in and day out basis do. So we brought Steven on here today to talk with us because he's been a long time Chime client. It's been an absolute joy working with him. He back when traveling was a cool thing, he's traveled with me, so we spent some time together and speaking at events, and we've built a good relationship. And I just wanted to pick his brain about what a good partner looks like from a technology perspective, from a title perspective, from a mortgage perspective, and I'll get off my soapbox.
So I guess that's leading right into me, but I'm going to go back, way back to not even worrying about technology or anything, but it was kind of my MO. And the restaurants that I used to go to or the bars that I used to go to, it was either my friends owned them or they managed them. And I always liked to be somewhere where I could be associated with the people that actually mattered in those institutions. Not because I was looking for the free drink or the free meal, but I treated it like my own. And I'd give my buddies feedback, or I'd bring people to those places if I really enjoyed the scene. And if your friends that own or manage these places don't necessarily have a great environment, I'm not going there, even though they're my buddies. You know what I mean? You want to be in a place that you like and enjoy, and you're also feeling like something is being reciprocated. Not that you're asking for it, but it's nice when people see what you're doing and then they, in a sense, let's just use the word reward. So I'm going to fast forward for a minute into real estate and technology. And so Tristan, you know the office that I work at, you know, with Kyle. And so I've been at Whistle Realty forever. And you know, I'm just going to use the name Boomtown, you know, as a CRM, and the office left Boomtown because Boomtown wasn't being a partner anymore. You know, there just wasn't a jam that was going on, and Boomtown got left behind in a lot of ways, right? Where my experience with Chime has always been one where I don't think anybody knows what's going on behind the scenes, because Chime's always looking to bring on more in order to up the agent experience, right? And right, there you go. Tristan's got a hand up.
Steven, I want to add to that because every time we bring up AI and Chime, right, not everybody fully understands what's going on. And that's a perfect example of what you said. That's all I wanted to say, Steven.
Yeah. And so you start to look at, okay, who's being proactive, who's doing what, who's trying to lead the field in giving the agents what they want. And even at the beginning of COVID, you know, what was Chime doing? They were immediately adapting into the virtual open house, and where you didn't see very many companies, if any, looking to pivot. And I'm always a super proactive dude, because no matter where I go, I always want to have an experience with ownership or management. I just want to know where I'm putting my dollars and who is up there. And when I got to know Chime, you know, there were opportunities to just collaborate because Chime was super proactive and trying to up the agent experience. But then the cool thing is when I was able to speak for Chime at Inman in New York a few years back, I got to meet all the management, and it was just like a little family. And it was just so cool to be a part of that. Not necessarily, oh, I know the management team or anything, but there was a culture amongst all of you that jived with me. And to me, that was just like,
we lost.
Oh, no.
Well, I was about to ask him while we're waiting for him to come back. I was to ask him if that culture changed when you jumped in there, Randy, because you ruined it all. But I didn't get a chance to ask him.
Boom, I got booted for a second. All right, who wants to ask me what?
Oh, no, I was going to say, Steven, you know, you were talking about this amazing culture. And I was about to ask you, did that all change when Randy jumped in? Did it ruin it all?
You know, he really upset a lot of people, and we have to find a way in. But we eventually all accepted him. So the one thing, just pay attention to how Randy flips his hair, and that's okay.
Oh,
When you
that's
get
good.
used to
Very
that-
good.
I got a haircut. I got short hair.
Yeah, it
It's
used to be
good.
super long.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much on my way out before I got booted for a second. But it's you get a vibe with Chime, and again, everyone just, it's like you're talking to a friend. There are no issues, and then if you have issues and you reach into them, they're proactive in trying to help you fix your issues. So I love I'm just all about relationships, and I have a relationship with Chime. That's why I'm still with Chime. There are other, the current company I work with offers a free CRM, a top level CRM, but I haven't transferred over to it. I've enjoyed my relationship with Chime and what it's presented to me. So for me, I can sit back and I know Chime's doing more than I would ever expect them to do. So because of that, I don't have to worry about that relationship.
It's very true, man. Very true. I like that. So on that, besides the culture and being able to work with them at this more familiar level, what are the things are great about the company that you like? Because when I look at it, it's cool that anytime I have a situation or something that I'm having challenges with, I just reach out to somebody and they're there, right? And
Yeah.
I can always trust that they are looking to that next thing, like the AI, that's one. The next thing is going live inside of your website through YouTube or through Facebook, right? They added that during COVID, things like that. What do you like in particular about the company when it comes to their tech or when it comes to the customer service side of things?
So from a customer service standpoint, when you have a relationship with Chime, they're going to also designate someone to you if you do have issues. So I like that. I've got a designated person at the company that I can always reach out to with whatever's going on. With respect to the technology itself, I am not a tech guru or nerd or figure stuff out like in a minute. I'm not. If I can just look at it and press buttons and it all works, I'm like, this was designed for me. And so that's how I use Chime, as far as the things that I look at for the calls that I have to make, using my dialer, reaching out, dropping my voice message, dropping my text, putting my notes in. The one thing that I also like is after I hang up my call, I only have X amount of seconds before I got to put my notes in and it kicks me on to the next one. So I've found a routine that really works for someone like me. And someone like me likes to be on the phone and making my calls and developing my relationships and sending my texts. I am not the Chime user that uses every single bit of its power, but the power that it offers me, for me, works like a glove. So when I get into routine, I know what my system looks like, feels like. I don't have to think about it. I get on, I do my stuff, I get off, we're done. I look at my app on my phone with push notifications if people are texting me back once they get a moment, to respond if they weren't able to pick up. It's all there. I have what I need in front of me for what I like to use. So that's what I love about Chime the most, is I've got a routine around it. And I know what it's like to have a routine and how efficient you can be versus flailing. And again, I don't operate as a tech guru. My brain doesn't like to function that way. If there are issues, I'm calling my assistant or I'm avoiding it, for her to fix. So that's just the truth.
I love it, dude.
So
What I like about what you said, Stephen, is I feel like so many times when there's the question, what do you like about X technology? People are almost expecting this like revolutionary like piece of technology or feature or function that has never been seen of or never been seen before or never been heard of before, that will be that final silver bullet, knowing that silver bullet is never coming, but being able to, like you said, look at it and be able to click the buttons and be able to use it because it makes sense. Like you said, it looks like this was built for me.
Yeah.
I relish in that because for 6 years, I've been working in real estate technology, and the biggest hurdle that no one really appreciates is agent adoption. And so when I hear you say things like that, it gives me the confidence to look at someone and say, your agents can adopt Chime because it looks like it was built for them.
So to piggyback on that with a completely different analogy, I do a lot of mindset coaching with respect to limiting beliefs and just, you know, how we operate. I'm not good enough, or, you know, all that fun stuff. And I work to get to the wounded child so that I can help you progress in your business. And as I'm saying this, there's a beautiful helicopter flying over my car. And right, but when I do a lot of the mindset coaching and limiting beliefs coaching so that I can actually help you explode your business in a positive way, what I tell people is I'm not even immune to this, even though I've been coached forever. You know, I'm a coach, I've been coached. A lot of people are looking for a silver bullet in everything, and that's just not reality. What I tell people is when I go through my own issues and my own personal life that I'm not immune to, all I do is I catch it immediately or very, very quickly so that I can get out of it. And technology is not the silver bullet for anything. You know, I'm sure the AI still has kinks to work out and things like that, and technology will work its way through, right? That's just life. But having something and identifying something a lot quicker that's going to help you, the AI from the people I know, you know, using it, it's upping their game. It's getting them higher results. And then they just have to step in when they need to step in. Just like mindset coaching, you're not bulletproof. You're just going to recognize everything so you can get back to the state that you appreciate being in and kick the BS out of your head. There's no silver bullet.
Mm-hmm. So I definitely want to get back to your mindset coaching. So let's take that, remember to come back here. But I also know that you have a really good relationship with professionals, other professionals, like whether it's wealth management or mortgage folks.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear just what you look for in someone when you are approaching a potential partner like that. And what are the signals to you that say, okay, this is someone who I can trust, who is going to be interested in my business as I'm interested in their business, et cetera, and we can work together? What are some of the signals that come across to you?
So I'm a very relational person, and I tell pretty much everyone that I work with, including my vendor partners or professionals, that I have a really bad habit of becoming great friends with the people I work with, right? So there are too many people out there, and there's not enough time in a day to invest your time with people that you're not comfortable being around. That's number one. I want to enjoy my company. I don't want to just, like a trust and estate litigator called me 10 minutes before this was going on to help her with an issue. She doesn't have to call me, you know, but we've developed a relationship where I made it well known, regardless of obligation, if you need anything, call me and I'll help you. And she does. And at the same time, you know, when she has clients to refer to me, she just puts my name in front of them. But then we go for lunch, we hang out. I want to know the individual. I want to know who's there. So obviously in real estate, there are so many ways to skin a cat. One phrase I coined was I farm professionals. So some people farm neighborhoods, some people do social farming. I farm professionals.
I love that.
And that approach is just super simple. When I'm on the phone with them, 98% of the conversation has nothing to do with real estate. And then they're usually bringing something up, and then I'll talk about real estate for a bit because they all know I'm in real estate. So when people know you're a professional, you don't have to say what you do over and over and over so that you hope that they work with you. I just want to know who the individual is, and I let everybody know that I've got a massive Rolodex, and whatever you need in your life, I don't care if it's like a general practitioner, doctor, an orthodontist, a contractor, a CPA, call me. And so I work to be a massive resource to the people in my life, not for the benefit, oh, I hope they give me a deal. It's legit. And I just want people that will reciprocate. And not everybody's like that. Some people are, what's in it for me? What, I don't need another real estate agent. Who are you? You know, don't bother me. And I'm not looking for that person, nor am I looking for the client that wants to offer anything under list price right now on a listing. You know, if I have a buyer, I'm looking for people who get it. And if they don't get it, next. You know, there's just too many people to worry about the one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for relationships first and foremost. The rest just follows.
Mm-hmm. So that's a great point too, that there's too many people out there to worry about that one. Talk about the mindset of fear that people have, that upsetting one person will prevent them from moving past them.
So in real estate, there's an acronym I've used for probably a decade, LP Mama. You guys have probably heard of it, right? You want to know location, price, mortgage, agent, motivation, and appointment. You need to qualify in order to know if your prospect is really going to be a client. There are so many people that stumble or won't ask the questions that need to be asked because they're afraid that if they ask the wrong or the tough questions, that prospect will leave them. And I'm like, that's great. Let them leave you. Because if they can't answer the questions that you need answered in order to protect them and shield them from making a bad move or falling in love with a property they can't perform on, or, you know, even on the listing side, if you're not asking the right questions or you're afraid to have commission questions, then everything's going to come back to bite you on the back end. And I've been there, you know, in my career early enough to know that if I'm not the professional leading the conversation every which way down the rabbit hole, I'm not going to have a client. I'm going to have a hope, a wish, a dream, and I don't build my business on that. So if I can't have the tough questions, then how on earth am I supposed to negotiate on their behalf and have the tough questions with the other party that I need to ask? Mm-hmm. So for me, if you're worried about the one, and when I grew up, I started knocking doors at 10, and then at 14, I was knocking doors for my dad's renovating company. And he taught me about 4 different types of people: strokers, brokers, lonely people, and mooches. The stroker will just, you know, if and when, and it's, you know, and we all have those. The brokers got no money and they tell you what they would do if their Iraqi dinar or whatever finally converts and they make $1 billion. The lonely person is going to invite you in the home and just show you the pictures of their kids that never come around and try to feed you and keep you there. And then there's the mooch. That's all the buying signals you're looking for. They have, you know, short-term plans to do the work or whatever it is that is the service you sell. They have the money. They've been preparing. They've talked about it. They may even have interviewed an agent already. But I'm looking for the buying signals. If I don't have everything that I need, yeah, you can nurture, but they still have to answer the questions properly or forget it. And always leave them politely. You know, here's my information. I do a market report, put them on a mailing list. They might refer you because they like you. You didn't push them. But again, you have to be able to go down the rabbit hole to know if you're investing your time wisely or not. I have a wife, 3 kids, a business, a personal life, social life. I don't have time to not ask what I need to ask. Because if I do, then I'm sabotaging time with my family, time for myself. And that's too important to me. So, you know, you can't miss a beat. And if you do, you're doing yourself and that other person a disservice.
Now, I learned something new about Tristan yesterday that I did not know. Tristan used to sell windows, or was it
nice?
So I would love to hear, because it's similar concept where you can't worry about the rejection from the one person with the windows. So I would love to hear, Tristan, if you don't mind sharing just some of the experiences and lessons you may have learned from trying to sell windows to people and how it translated to real estate success.
I'm glad you bring that up, dude. I was thinking that while Stephen was saying he was 10 years old and a little older going on in canvassing, you know, door knocking.
Yeah.
So I started when I was 14. My very first job ever was I worked for Nielsen TV ratings. I used to call out people and try to get surveys done, right? That was first. Yeah. Then I went into selling ink cartridges at 15, 16, and then Windows by phone. I pick up the phone and dial. And I'll tell you a story, and then I'll go back to Stephen. So I'm sitting there at 17 years old, summer break, calling to sell windows. And this older lady I'm imagining it was a little old lady, but who knows? An older lady,
Little big lady.
yeah, with a Scottish accent, and and then when I was like, I'm 17. Let's go with a Scottish accent. So I went with a Scottish accent. I'm 17. Okay, I'm in high school. And I started talking to her in Scottish, and she was super nice. And at the end, I'm closing out, we're done. And then I get somebody walking up to me and says, "Hey, we listened to your last call. We'd like to talk to you." And this is like the bosses, and I'm 17. I'm like, "Oh, I'm fired." Right. So they bring me over and they sit down and said, "Hey, we really like the way you've been handling all objections on the phone. Just keep going, right? Doesn't matter what they say, and you're kind of go with the flow, and you're really good and listening with people." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." He's like, "Would you want to take this up a level and go and door knock for us with us and sell windows in person, right?" And then I'm like, "No, that doesn't sound good to me." So I left the job. But the point was that what Steven's saying is you do get to figure out these people at such a granular level because you're doing it like back to back to back to back to back. And you figure it out so quickly. And I love what Steven was saying about the strokers and the brokers, because yeah, you have to categorize people that quick. And you're like, are these people wasting my time? Or
Yeah.
not? Right. So that was right on, man. And then going into how we use it on a CRM, it's like now we're finding their motivation once we get to the right people to be able to categorize them and then focus on our A's and B's, right? So very, very good point on that, man. So Steven, when you're talking to somebody and you're done and you categorize them, what does that look like on your CRM, like on Chime? What does that look like for you?
I just keep it super simple because I put my notes in the top right, when you're going through the CRM. So all my notes are there with a follow-up call. So I'm not, again, this is just the way I use technology. I'm not like on the hot or watch or whatever. I just put everyone to qualify. And then if I don't like them, what I'm doing is as soon as I get into, as my dialer is moving me through, I quickly scroll down and I check, have they been looking at listings? Have they responded to anything? Do I see anything open? And I'll respond to them in a text message with, and I've written all of my pre-canned text messages based on what I see. I see you've been looking at a lot of properties. Hey, let's go invest some time and look at some of them. Especially if I'm not hearing from them, I'm trying to use trigger words to re-engage. So I'm all about trigger words more so than categorizing on the left-hand side. I just don't get that granular. That's just me, and it's okay for me. Other people are super granular, but I'm just going through, and if somebody isn't responding, they're doing nothing, and I may go into my Gmail with BombBomb also just to see if they're opening my emails at time, if I'm not seeing certain things going on through Chime. So I'm always just seeing if life is busy on their end and they're not responding to me because life's busy, or they just really have no purpose, for real estate, and they might have clicked on a Facebook ad and we're just browsing. So I kind of have my own methodology of how I work the CRM and how I classify people. But if they're super, super hot, I will put it as hot. I'll remember before I get, booted to the next one through the dialer. But it's more the notes that I put in that I get a chance to catch as soon as it pops up to see who that person is. And then I scope what they're doing to see if they're active. And then I respond accordingly.
Do you use the ones that Chime has already built in? Like
No, I wrote all my own. It was I'm a wordsmith. I believe in language that I like to use that are trigger words in order to get people to respond to me. I don't like anything canned.
Perfect.
I just don't.
I like that, dude. And then when you're categorizing them, if they're super hot, you just put them under hot, and then
all right. Just on hot, and depending on what it is, at the same time, I'll just move out of my Chime tab, go into my Google Calendar, put something there for myself just as a secondary reminder, and then remember to call them at 5 o'clock if I have to that day, and not worry about the CRM, and just kind of, even though there's a bit of duplicity, that's my personality type. I just make it super simple for myself. So I get my Google reminder, 2 hours before, 10 minutes before, whatever, and then make the phone call later on a specific date or that day again. So that's what I'm doing. I just keep it simple.
I love that, man. And the thing that we do is we categorize. I wanted to just show my screen really quick, so maybe you can give some feedback here. When we're looking at all of our leads, right? What we typically do is, let me just move the screen over. We go over to the right, the little cog, and then we rearrange so that it fits what we're looking for. Like you put hot there, right? So we would leave hot there. Some people would be like, let's bring up nurturing up here, right? Let's just say you wanted to rearrange it and save it. And now that's how we have it up towards the top, right? New leads, hot, nurturing, and so forth. Do you find that you gravitate to one or the other here on this top little section? We usually start with new leads and hot. That's where we typically start. Where do you typically start your calls or your days?
My simplicity, as simple as it is you're sharing your screen. I just go down below. I look at my phone button, and there are days I've made 600 calls in a day. So I love the phone. I just go start dialing, and whatever there's two things I do. I do the dial, and then in the top right, where it shows you if people were actively looking at properties, that's the other thing that I'll do. So even if they weren't in my immediate follow-up, those are the two things that I do. I immediately call. I don't need warm up. I don't need any of that stuff. I would lead role play calls, and I did that for years. So for me, the phone is one of my best friends in business. So I can't wait to pick up the phone. But then I'm also looking at what do I have on the top right for people that have been actively looking or back to the site that haven't been there since 2017. That I didn't have, my nurturing plan wasn't necessarily following up on them after 4 years, but I'm looking at them as active. So again, I use it totally differently than how other people may use it for work, but it works for me. Because everyone gets categorized in the sense of when I'm following up with them again. That's as simple as I make it. When am I following up with them again? And then I will call them on that day.
Nice. So you have good tasks that you set as soon as you're done talking to someone.
Yes, immediately. In that 1 minute that you get when the call's concluded through Chime, when they hang up. I make all my notes there. I re-forward dates. I go to my Google Calendar. So that's the one thing that kind of pissed me off, but also excited me about the 1 minute countdown. Was like, sometimes you need more than a minute, right? So I've kind of figured it out for myself with how I use that minute, and I like how efficient it's made me.
I love that, man.
I have a quick question. I feel like we could log into pretty much anyone's CRM and see they have a aggressive number of overdue tasks set, because I think the task set feature gets kind of abused. Under what circumstances are you setting tasks and just tell me about kind of that task management piece, because I know that some people will get overrun with tasks and then they miss important ones because they have a lot of not important ones crowding all the others.
My tasks, again, are as simple as follow-up. So I just use Chime at a very basic level for me, because I also understand my personality type, which is a DI, and a DIS personality. I just make shit happen and I blow shit up and I hope somebody can pick up the pieces. So, right? As long as I'm out there making my calls, because I'll retask things out. So I'll attack people initially when a lead comes in every day until it's about a week old. And then, instead of every day, it'll be once a week. And then when it's a couple weeks old, it'll be every 2 weeks. And then once it gets over a month old, I'll follow up with them once a month. So I have like my own little system set up, and I use my tasks that way. And then again, if it's going to be outside of when I think I might not necessarily be on Chime to remember something, that's why I put it in my Google Calendar, is because I want to make sure that I don't miss it, because there are times I'm just too busy with things that I'm not looking at every detail on Chime. So I'm in the process of hiring a VA right now on top of my regular assistant for things that I want them to be more aware of, because my days are so busy that if one thing gets kind of knocked out of sequence in my day, other things are going to have that domino effect, and I'm going to miss part of it. And I don't want to miss anything, because anything you miss may cost you something, whether it's a relationship or a sale.
That's true.
So,
Stephen, how are you planning on using your VA specifically? Any things you have in mind besides what you said?
So I'm going to train them, because again, I've done a lot of teaching for role play. So teaching them how to have the proper conversations according to what I want in a conversation, so they can make the conversations for me in the morning. I'm really looking to focus on more of, again, what I call farming professionals. So there's about 600 top professionals in my local area that I'm a part of, because of like a professional network on steroids. And those people just call me and, I'm going on an appointment tomorrow for a listing, a really expensive listing, because my buddy just called me, who's a wealth manager. It's like, hey, can you go do this? That's where I want to spend my time. If I have someone that I can train with conversation and proper qualifying words and things that I want to have go in a conversation, they'll make those calls for me. They'll pay attention to my tasks. They'll send me reminders, because I get very hyper focused when I'm in a moment. And when you do that, I like to block out the rest of the world, simply because I give that person all my attention. So my assistant, if she was on this call right now, she would tell you how I operate, which would be hilarious, because of my personality type. But I make shit happen. And that's the only place I want to be, is where I make shit happen. I don't want to be doing all the tedious task stuff. So I'm going to maximize a lot of what they do. So making those phone calls, doing the follow-up reminders, setting up different events for me, also having a more tech savvy mindset, so that they can use what I have at my disposal to a greater capacity than I am, and help me grow, So that's what I want my VA to pick up the pieces that I don't pay attention to, because that's not my strong suit.
Well, I think that's the key, dude. That's so funny that you shifted over to that topic, because I was talking to Tom Ferry yesterday, and we were talking about leverage delegation. And he said, look, I talked to two different types of agents: ones that want to make it happen and go all the way and make no excuses, and ones that say, well, you know what, that's just not for me. And he goes, I think that those have to stop complaining and saying, okay, I'm okay at this level, and it means I'm not going to hire more people. And then he said, Tristan, when I started this coaching company, when I started this thing, I went all out and hired everyone day one. Like, I was going to go big, right? I wasn't going to be like, well, let's hire somebody here, let's hire somebody there. He goes, and there's nothing wrong with agents that don't want to go all in and hire, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, that's also going to determine how you're going to grow in this business. So I love the fact that you said, yeah, I'm going to hire somebody as a VA to leverage the things that I'm not great at, that'll work well with me. That's the key. Great job.
We all know what we're great at. We all know what we do to make things happen. And if I'm not in that environment, then there's less that's going to happen. It's still going to be successful, but I'm going to be doing most of everything, all the minutia that I don't want to tackle. And then, at the end of the day, I'm wiped out. And then the people, again, that suffer are my family, because sometimes I'm so extroverted that I don't want to talk when I turn it off. I need a mental break, and then other people suffer because of that. And if you think about the investment, and coming from a scarcity mindset, that's how I grew up. I didn't want to invest in my business. I could do it all by myself. But then things start to break, and you miss things, and you realize that if I put a little bit of money here and I'm getting that return over there, okay. And it was on one of these LabCoatAgent Chime webinars that I heard something that made a lot of sense to me, which was, it wasn't the acquisition cost of the lead, it was the acquisition cost of the client. And that was maybe 3 weeks ago or a month ago that you guys did that. And one of the guys was talking about that with how expensive Zillow leads were. But he's like, if it takes me 4 Zillow leads to get a client and it's $350 a lead and I do the math, but my return is X, then that's how I have to look at it. As opposed to, it's $350 a lead, this one was garbage. you know?
Mm.
So
That sounds like a Brett Baker conversation.
yeah, I think that's right. That I think it
That could
was
be
him
it.
who said that. And I love that. And it resonated with me because that's the truth. If you're looking at the myopic level of going, shit, you know, this is 350 and they weren't even ready, or they were trying to rent the house, not even buy it, which we all get that on working lead conversion all the time. But it's not about that. It's okay, how much did my actual client cost me, the one that actually did buy or list the house, versus every lead that you get so upset when you think about that. That was $350 phone call. That was shit. You know, this company sucks. Versus I invested 12 or 1,500 bucks to make 20,000. You know, so
That's true.
it's a different way of shifting how we look at stuff, and that the way he put it, I didn't forget that, nor will I ever, because that's the truth. If we're looking at running a business, if we're just transactional, not running a business, then every dollar matters, every dollar counts, and you're going to scare yourself and probably scale back and hurt your own business and do more all by yourself again. And there just isn't enough time in a day to run a successful business in any business. I don't care what it is.
You know, that's funny on that you say that you just don't have enough time. You need to pick up the right people. So one of the things that we started looking at, I put it in the chat. You may know this, man, because you work with Kyle Whistle. Crystal Knows. Have you heard of Crystal Knows?
Refresh my memory. It sounds familiar, but
so Crystal Knows is a place you could go to get like a DISC assessment.
Okay.
Based on
that's right. Yeah. We did it in our office, and it had all this other stuff too. Yep. So yes, but please continue.
Perfect, dude. Yes, I knew you knew it. I just had to refresh your memory. So Crystal Knows is some place that you could go to for your clients as well, not just for people you're hiring. But in this case, you were talking about a virtual assistant, whether they're in the US or not, doesn't matter. When you go to Crystal Knows and you have them take this test, right? It comes back to you and it says, hey, Stephen, this person is going to work like this with you because they also have your profile. This person looks like they would work really well with you, right? Now it took it to another level. It's not just giving you like a one-dimensional type DISC profile. It's telling you, yep, this is a perfect match, right? And that goes deeper. And I think that's one part that we miss because we sometimes don't know what it is that we need when it comes to hiring somebody, right? I've messed that part up so much.
Guilty.
Yeah. So you just jogged my memory when it came to that. I was like, Crystal Knows. That's good. So
yeah. I think I'm looking for like an IC in a DISC profile, someone that can at least be commanding, but is going to look at all the details because they love the details. I'm like, where do I sign versus show me the details? That's just me.
That's so true. I just want to know if it works, and I want to know if you did the work to find that out and then tell me so I can sign.
Right. Kyle might be the better guy to reach out to because he geeks out on that stuff. So
that's so funny.
Just being honest.
Yeah, that's good, dude. All right. Well, Randy, anything else you got for us, buddy? I think we're right on time here.
Yeah, I'm squared away.
Good, man. All right. Well, Stephen, what areas do you cover just in case we do have referrals for you?
Yeah, thank you. So I have a small team that work for me. So I cover all of San Diego County, of course, and then Southern Riverside County from Menifee down, so Marietta, Temecula, and then South Orange County, Irvine down, to San Clemente. So those areas are areas I cover.
Nice, dude. Well, you're right there. Carlsbad, yeah. It's everything. So
I got it all. Yeah, it's really cool.
Perfect.
So it's a lot of driving though.
It is. Well, it's our job, man. And if you have a chance, stop by that burrito place that I sent you.
Yeah, right.
I'll send you Randy, if you can connect us by text, I'll send him the address.
Yeah, that'll be more fun. We'll do.
Thanks for being with us, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thanks everybody. Thanks for joining us. Randy, you rock, buddy. Thanks, man.
Nah, man, y'all are the greatest. Thank you.